Hi everybody, it's Lain and I'm back with day number 4 of 31 days of Q&As, and I've got a great question for you today. It comes from Jenny Leonard, who says, "Hi Lain, I've heard people refer to a triangle when laying out embellishments on a page. What is the guideline they're talking about? Also, are there any other guidelines, I won't say rules, to keep in mind when designing a page?" Now, Jenny, thank you so much for your question. Make sure to email support@layoutaday.com with your mailing address and the words "I won" in the subject line so we can get you a little gift. Now, the rule of 3 is there's two separate rules. There's a rule of 3, and then there's the triangle rule. And I'll address each one separately. The rule of 3 typically says that things look better if you're clustering, if you cluster 3 versus 2 or 4. For some reason, odd numbers look better, and our eyes tend to find them more pleasing. If you look in nature, typically flowers will have an odd number of petals. If you sat there and did the he loves me not the whole way around, you would find that there are an odd number of petals, and he does indeed love you. So I grabbed some recent layouts to show you how the rule of 3 might play out on your layouts. Let me see here. Okay, for instance, this one's called Road Trip, and it's a page about the car that we had when I was little, the old green station wagon. And if you look up here at the top, right here, I have 3 strips, not 2, not 4, but 3 strips. And if you look down here at the bottom, when I cut this out of the pattern paper, I cut 3 vehicles, not 2, not 1, not 4. Now, for whatever reason, you can play around with it, but it's just been found through experimentation that 3 is a good number to play with. So if you're grouping buttons or flowers, try grouping in 3 and see how that looks for you. It gives a little more balance than an even number. Now, the other rule is, and I appreciate you calling them guidelines versus rules, and I think they should be taken as such because there's no such thing as an unbreakable rule in scrapbooking. The other idea is the visual triangle with embellishments or eye-catching elements forming the 3 points of the triangle. So here's one that gives a good example. It's called Puppy Love. There's a little cow. Now, if you look here, let me see if I can do this backwards. If you look at the big flower at the top, the title in pink, and then this big little subhead down here, I guess you could call it, those kind of form a visual triangle going 1, 2, 3, and it guides your eye through the page, and it just provides cohesion for the page. Another example of that is this one here. It's called Love You, my little Kinsey, and if you look at the red at the top, going to the red title, to this red in this block down here, it forms a visual triangle that again provides cohesion to the page, pulls your attention into the center versus leaving it scattered around here. So I could have chosen green, red, and white down here or something, but it doesn't provide the same cohesion and unity as it does by providing 3 blocks of red for the eye to follow. So that is another rule that you could say that you could use in designing your pages. Another very common rule or principle is the rule of thirds. Do you notice how these all go in 3? And that says if you imagine a tic-tac-toe board across your photo or across your page, anywhere that those lines intersect, any of those little junctures are going to be prime areas to put the most important thing on your layout. For whatever reason, our eye goes to those little intersections on a page. So if you look at this one here, this is a page that I just did the other day, 2 of a kind. I didn't put the photo halfway down the page. I put it 1/3 of the way down the page. And if you look at where our eyes are, if you imagine a visual board, tic-tac-toe board across the page, I didn't do that very well because I'm doing this backwards, it would be right about where the intersection is and where our eyes are, and also where the title is. Those are 2 important parts of the page, and I put them 1/3 of the way down and where an intersection would be. The same goes for, let me find another page here to show you. Well, the road trip page. The title is about 1/3 of the way down. And on, let me see, this one here, this is a Let's Dance page about Callie's sparkly shoes. The shoes are the central point of the page, and I didn't put them at the halfway mark of the page. I put them just below half at about 1/3 of the way down, or 1/3 of the way up from the bottom of the page. Same with the puppy love page. I did not center the photo right in the middle of the page. I put it down. Here's one where I did kind of center it, and I'm not thrilled with it. I would have preferred to move that photo up so it was right here where this butterfly is, but because of the length of the words coming across, I didn't have enough space to move them up right there. So I would have preferred to move them up. I actually may do that still, find a way to fix this page. It looks fine the way it is, and you might recognize this page from yesterday or the day before, but I would prefer if this were up higher. So anyway, 3 rules or guidelines for you to follow. One is the rule of 3, grouping in 3. Another one is that visual triangle, and another one is that grid, the cross-hatching grid. So I hope that helps. Plenty of time for you to submit your questions for the rest of the month, and leave me a comment at layoutaday.com and let me know how you're enjoying this and if you have any questions or anything to add. See you later.